In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to change a brake disc and pads. Firstly, remove the spring from the outside of the caliper. Then, remove the two dust caps from the back. You can use a screwdriver to pry them off. Using a 7mm Allen key, remove the two slide pins. Take the caliper off the brake disc. Pull the inner pad out of the caliper piston and insert the hook into the hole on the back of the caliper. The caliper must not be allowed to dangle onto the hydraulic hose, so use the hook to firmly attach it to the suspension unit. Take the outer pad off the caliper mounting bracket. Then remove the bolts from the back of the mounting bracket using a pneumatic ratchet. Use both hands to remove the mounting bracket from the brake disc. You can now take the brake disc off the hub. If it's difficult to remove, give it a gentle tap with a hide or copper mallet. Before fitting the new brake disc, clean the hub using emery paper, taking care to remove any rust. This will ensure a clean surface to remount the new disc and minimise the potential for disc runout. Apply Ceratec grease to the hub, both to the face and the outer edge. Do not use copper slip because copper can affect the workings of the ABS sensor. Clean the rims of the holes in the new brake disc before placing it onto the hub. Place nuts on the two bolt positions as shown here. You can use a spanner, but they only need to be hand tight. Spray the flat surface of the brake disc with brake cleaner and wipe it down with a clean rag. Spray brake cleaner directly onto the rag to clean the back and outer edge of the brake disc more thoroughly. You now need to check the disc runout. Attach a dial gauge to a secure, stable location. Make sure that the dial gauge clamp locks firmly into place. You should hear it click into the locking position. This is what the correctly positioned dial gauge should look like. Notice that the dial gauge needle is touching the brake disc, approximately 15mm from its outer edge. By hand, turn the brake disc anti-clockwise several times and take the reading from the dial gauge. Manufacturers advise a maximum variance of 0.08mm. Here, the reading is 0.06mm, which is acceptable. Now, old brake fluid is being drained from the brake. The flexible hose at the top takes the fluid into the caliper. Attach another tube to the bleed nipple and use a spanner to open and close it. Place a piston retracting tool into the caliper and wind it open. As the piston moves back into the cylinder, it will push old brake fluid through the bleed nipple to drain along the lower tube and into a receptacle to be safely discarded later. Before you reattach the mounting bracket, clean it thoroughly, using emery paper to remove any rust. It's important to lubricate the abutments and sliding faces with Ceratec grease before you put the mounting bracket onto the new brake disc. Apply Ceratec grease to the abutments of the inner pad and then snap the inner pad into the hole in the caliper piston. Place the outer pad, which should now have Ceratec grease on its abutments, firmly into the brake disc and fit the caliper into position. Having covered the slide pins with rubber grease, do not use mineral grease as this destroys the rubber brushes. Push them both into position on the back of the caliper to secure it to the mounting bracket. Tighten the pins with the 7mm Allen key using manufacturer's torque settings. Push the two dust caps into position over the pins and replace the springs by fitting the ends into the two small holes on the front side of the caliper. Use a pair of pliers to refit the spring until it's secure. This video has demonstrated how to carry out a standard brake change. Individual models of car may vary, so please consult the manufacturer's handbook if in any doubt.